The stars kind of aligned, and like I said, our crew trains weekly for all sorts of things, for first aid emergencies, fire emergencies, and man overboard emergencies. And what happened today, it is heroic. These are frigid temperatures, but it's not completely uncommon. Our crew has pulled a good amount of people out of the water.
And thank goodness that crew is trained every week for situations just like that.
And now, Mark, even though we were in the 50s, again, thank goodness they were there, because there's still ice in the river, and it's got to be really, really frigid.
Yeah, the water temperatures, I think you'll find in the 30s. That's true for the river and the lake. And hypothermia setting in only moments, minutes in a situation like that. Right now, we do have some clear skies and sunshine, and we've had mild conditions today. We made it up into the 50s. We'll be back into the 50s all through the weekend, and we could even touch on some 60-degree readings coming up here over the course of the next couple of days. But we've had some sunshine today, lots of it. We'll have some sunshine, I think, tomorrow, although a little less. There are some clouds beginning to drift into the from the north and from the northwest, and I think we'll see some of those clouds later this evening. And I think we'll have a mix of clouds and sunshine for a good portion of the day tomorrow, with a little more sunshine in the morning than the afternoon. Look at these temps right now: 52 at the lake shore, 51 degrees on the southwest side, northwest side at 52. The coldest reading on the map right now into the 40s, and that is not bad for a daytime high that is normally around 34 degrees. Well, winds, they've been pretty light most of the areas. We've seen some occasional gusts this afternoon, but it's been fairly light here over the last couple of hours. So a pleasant evening. Going outside tonight, and you're in pretty good shape. Eventually we'll make it down to about 35 overnight tonight, but that's just before we start to warm up for the rest of the weekend. Those details straight ahead.
Come on, y'all, fill up every single corner. We need to fill up every single corner. Let's go, Lakeview.
Students at Lakeview High School protesting ICE and the Trump administration's immigration policies. They marched from the school to North Center Town Square. Sky Fox went over another student walkout against ICE, this one in Elmhurst, students from York High School. And there was a walkout in Aurora. One held there earlier this week turned chaotic and led to arrests.
Leslie Moreno is at Federal Plaza now, where students gathered earlier today as well. Leslie?
Yeah, there were hundreds of students out here outside Federal Plaza, a gathering for that school walkout. Again, one of many demonstrations that we've seen across our area today in Aurora. As you mentioned, hundreds of students there also taking part in that walkout. The second one this week. Let's give you a look there at the video. This was happening at 11 this morning. You can see there students marching through downtown. This is following Monday's walkout, which drew about 1,500 students into the streets. Police say some students moved into traffic, fights broke out, and 3 teens were arrested. One of them is also accused of punching an officer. Earlier this week, we spoke with one of those students, a 15-year-old from East Aurora High School. He says he was tackled by police and taken to the hospital with bruises and head injuries. The next day, students gathered outside the Aurora Police Department, demanding charges against those 3 teens be dropped. We spoke with the mayor this morning. He says the city is working with community groups to provide non-uniformed escorts and marshals, hoping to limit direct police contact.
It's been a huge issue, trying to balance safety along with having a withdrawn presence from the police. They've hung back from the marches, so we don't have an incident like we did the other day. So far, things have gone off okay, but there are going to be some people that are spinning out their tires, and there's always going to be a few instigators. We just had a guy with a Trump flag show up, purposefully try and instigate the crowd, and it worked. So.
The Aurora School District also letting families know that students who left campus will receive an unexcused absence for the day. Meanwhile, the Kane County State's Attorney's Office says it is investigating the use of force during Monday's walkout. The mayor also telling us this morning that he is working on putting together some town hall meetings with community members and students and families as well to talk about safety during these protests. Guys.
Leslie, we mentioned the walkout in Aurora from earlier this week had arrests. Have you seen anything like that today?
Yeah, thankfully no arrests. The only issue you heard from the mayor, he said that there was a guy who walked by with a Trump flag trying to instigate these students. He says there was a verbal exchange between some of the students and that guy, but nothing in terms of fights breaking out or altercations with police, and certainly no arrest like we saw on Monday. Guys.
Well, police are investigating an attack in Fulton Market. A man robbed at gunpoint, and it was all caught on camera. You can see he's pinned at gunpoint, beaten up, before two guys grab his items and just take off in a Range Rover. This happened yesterday. It was before sunset around 4:30 on Peoria, right in front of Good Ambler. We spoke with the executive director of Fulton Market Association. He says they need more security cameras.
I do believe they know in Fulton Market that there have been a few armed robberies. There have been some, like other neighborhoods, and they're not being caught. And so the first line of defense is to have Chicago police cameras that would record not only the crimes that happened, but the vehicles coming in and out of the community.
Police say the victim refused medical services. No one has been arrested. And 27th Ward Alderman Walter Burnett is weighing in too. He says the safety of constituents is a priority. He also says he spoke with the 12th District Commander, who is assuring him more police are going to be in that area. A man was stabbed on the CTA Green Line. Police say this happened late last night, the 47th Street station in Bronzeville. The 44-year-old was stabbed in the face. Police say he is going to be okay. No one's been arrested and no word on what led up to the stabbing.
This Valentine's Day, one Illinois nonprofit is celebrating a decade of safety and support on the Southwest Side. Wings program will mark the milestone by hosting a special meal for survivors. They'll be surrounded by program graduates who have walked a similar path. The Safe House, which operates at an undisclosed location for the safety of guests, provides multi-tiered support to women, men, and children escaping domestic abuse.
Wings Metro has provided 125,000 nights of shelter to over 1,700 adults and children, most of those being children, to take that first step, that safety step out of domestic violence. Most people don't know that the most dangerous time for someone is when they're trying to leave the person who is causing the harm to them.
Wings also has a second safe house in the northwest suburbs. It opened in 2005. Beyond a safe place to stay, the program also offers legal counseling, budgeting, and job readiness.
Okay, so Mayor Johnson just vetoed the hemp ban. Supporters of the proposal want to regulate the growing industry, but business owners warned it would force them to close. It's been very controversial. The issue has gotten more prominent as Gen Z and millennials have changed their drinking habits and switched to alternatives. Mayor Johnson called the ordinance premature and says the city could wait for federal guidance that's coming soon. A reminder, early voting for Chicago's March primary election is going on right now.
Now, you can only vote downtown right now. If you're looking for the super site, it's at a new spot at State and Adams. Voters can also cast ballots at the Cook County Admin Building on Washington. Citywide early voting will expand to sites in all 50 wards on March 2nd. And Fox Chicago has you covered for the primaries. Starting Monday at 6, Paris Schutz will host a series of debates with candidates. In the top races to watch, that includes the battle to replace retiring Senator Dick Durbin, the Cook County assessor, and more.
All right, a network of Chicago charter schools could be shut down by next month.
Plus, the FBI releasing new details about the person police are calling a suspect in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
We're live in Minnesota, where journalist Don Lemon is arraigned on civil rights charges. Come on back. Stream.
approve this message.
Nancy Guthrie has been reported missing for nearly 2 weeks.
The FBI now doubling its reward for information leading to her return. The agency is also sharing the description of the suspect seen in new surveillance video, describing the man as somewhere between 5'9" and 5'10". Today, the Pima County Sheriff spoke exclusively to Fox, saying that reports claiming he is not working well with the FBI are simply not true.
There is no ego at all between this leadership and the FBI leadership. We all have the same goal and mission. All 400 cops out there have that same goal and mission. Where's Nancy? We want to find Nancy.
And as far as a suspect or possible person of interest, the Pima County Sheriff says nobody is ever eliminated.
Funding for much of the Department of Homeland Security runs out at midnight. The final chance, to fund the agency before tonight's deadline failed yesterday, blocked by Democrats. They won't help approve more funding until new restrictions are put on federal immigration operations.
Today's strong vote was a shot across the bow to Republicans. Democrats will not support a blank check for chaos.
We have to protect our law enforcement, very important.
Unlike the record 43-day shutdown last fall, only agencies under the DHS umbrella will be affected. That includes not just ICE and Border Control, but TSA, FEMA, and the Coast Guard. TSA says it will stop paying 63,000 workers at midnight.
Tonight, 5 people charged in connection to a protest that disrupted a church service in Minnesota are pleading not guilty.
One of those people, former CNN anchor Don Lemon. Liviana Calmes was in court today. She's live in Minneapolis. Liviana.
Terrence, Casey, this was about a 40-minute hearing in which all 5 defendants pleaded not guilty in these civil rights charges, including, like you said, former CNN anchor Don Lemon. Now, this comes after prosecutors say they disrupted a church service and violated worshipers' First Amendment right to practice their religion back in January. And protesters say that church has a pastor who also leads a local ICE field office. Now, according to the indictment, prosecutors saying the disruption was planned and saying this crossed the line from a protest to a federal crime. Now, outside court right after, defendant and activist Nikema Armstrong called the charges unjust. She said they'll continue to fight them, and so did former CNN anchor Don Lemon. He was there live streaming the protest in January. Today, maintaining he was acting as a journalist, not a participant, and he spoke today after court, again pushing back on those charges.
The process is the punishment with them. And like all of you here in Minnesota, the great people of Minnesota, I will not be intimidated. I will not back down. I will fight these baseless charges, and I will not be silenced.
Now, this all comes after we're hearing that Operation Metro surge in the Minneapolis area is slowing down. I'll send it back to you guys.
Oliviana, thank you. Ring is calling off its partnership with a surveillance tech company after backlash over a Super Bowl ad. Ring, which is owned by Amazon, says it is no longer working with flock safety. The announcement comes after a controversial commercial highlighting a search party feature that uses AI to scan neighborhoods and find lost pets. This raised privacy concerns. Ring says the partnership needs more time and resources than expected. The company says the technology never launched and no customer videos were ever sent to Flock. More military moves are happening in the Middle East. President Trump is trying to pressure Iran into negotiating limits on its nuclear program, but it won't be easy. Iran exchanged messages with the U.S. this week. Still, a new round of talks hasn't yet materialized. Officials say a number of major sticking points remain, including Iran's ballistic missile program.
No one can do even the slightest thing against our missiles. Our missiles are not part of the negotiations, and they won't be.
President Trump says he wants a deal in place with Iran over the next month. Tomorrow, there will be a rally for Iran in Chicago in favor of international intervention. We spoke with the organizer on Chicago Live. She says they want Trump to help Iranians in their support of freedom.
What we really are asking for is a targeted military action that increases pressure on the regime and support the Iranian nation.
The rally is scheduled for 1 tomorrow on Congress Plaza.
Two men say Chicago police tortured them into confessing to crimes they did not commit. Both spent years in prison, and now they're fighting to clear their names. The names are Kevin Jackson and Lester Owens. Jackson did 23 years for a shooting. Later, witnesses said police pressured them, and even the victim said Jackson wasn't the shooter. Owens went to prison for a 2007 case. He says police forced testimony against him, and someone else has admitted to it since. Both cases involve the same detectives, and records show one of them has lots of complaints and was actually named in a city lawsuit. Supporters turned out in court today, including activist Jasmine Smith, who talked about what's next for Jackson.
Now here we are, a year after he's been released, fighting and continuance after continuance after continuance of trying to get his certificate of innocence. And the way that the legislation is even written up for them to obtain their certificate of innocence is a complete contradiction of what the law really stands for. So it's just, an awful experience for our survivors.
The judge still hasn't ruled on Jackson's innocence. Owens will be back in court next week.
Watch your step and maybe steer clear of any ladders. Today is Friday the 13th. While some of us laugh it off, doctors say the fear surrounding this date can actually alter how our brains work. People tend to avoid traveling today. They're also more likely to stay home and even delay important decisions. But it's also a self-fulfilling prophecy. With all the misfortune associated with Friday the 13th, experts say we expect bad things, and sometimes they do happen because we're psyching ourselves out.
Well, hopefully a lot of you get lucky tomorrow. We're on nothing unlucky about our weather right now, though, Mark.
No, we're in the fortunate zone, I would say, especially with skies that look like that. We have mild temperatures, and here's the deal. This is the 7 to 14-day outlook, and it calls for temperatures to remain, the trend at least, to remain above normal. So those temperatures are going to continue into the 50s right through the weekend and into early Monday and into the early part of the week. I'm showing a 48 for Tuesday. We're back up into the 50s on Wednesday. And even beyond that, we're talking about temperatures still in the 40s, still above average, all the way through the end of the week. Now, the trend is still above average, but temperatures not quite as sweet as we have over the next couple of days at the end of this 10-day forecast. But nonetheless, we remain above average. Well, we have some sunshine today. Now sun going down over the western horizon, but at least we're not dealing with snowfall. That's snow out over the eastern parts of the Great Lakes. Looking off to the west now, we do have a few clouds beginning to drift in as we go through this late afternoon and early evening. And overnight tonight, we'll have partly cloudy skies at times. The jet stream still hurling some nice, mild Pacific air our way as it kind of meanders out over the Rockies and then pushes into Chicago. And that's why our temperatures are going to be so much above average, at least for the next several days. Beyond that, 10-day forecast, well, still looking pretty good. I've got more details for the rest of the week.
All right, you heard them. It's going to be nice this weekend, so let's go over some events happening. Tomorrow is the Black Creativity Career Showcase. It's at the Griffin Museum of Science and Industry. You can meet black artists, scientists, and engineers, and you can explore career opportunities. This is included with the General Museum tickets. This weekend, you can also ring in the Lunar New Year. And a market celebration is happening tomorrow, and Sunday there will be food, drinks, traditional lion dance performances, all to ring in the Year of the Horse. You can learn about the birds, the bees, and biology at the Field Museum. There's an adults-only night tomorrow celebrating the strange, spectacular world of animal mating behaviors. You can try your hand at quirky mating behaviors, experiment with signals and displays, and see what it really takes to capture attention in the wild. There's also a hidden speakeasy tucked within the museum. Starts at 6 tomorrow. You can buy tickets online. The Shed is hosting Nature's Rage Room tomorrow. It's at Bob Mann Woods. You can take out your anger by cutting down and burning some invasive trees. That starts at 10. And then finally, the Rhea and David Logan Center for Arts is hosting a candlelight Luther Vandross tribute. That's tomorrow night at 7. Tickets start at $60. We'll be right back.
is secure.
From pickleball to pickle brawl, a big fight in Florida ends with felony charges.
That's one of the men charged. His name is Anthony. He's accused of hitting his opponent with a paddle, causing his eye to split. The fight started when he insulted his opponent's wife. More players got involved. Even a 70-year-old man tried breaking things up, but that guy says Anthony punched him and he hit the ground. Anthony's wife then allegedly attacked him too. The couple is now charged with felony battery.
Take a look at this wild video. The LA County Sheriff's Department went off-roading while chasing down a driver who they say stole a car. During the chase, the suspect drove into the LA riverbed where his hood popped off. The chase came to an end when the driver spun out. The suspect tried to make a run for it, hiding in the bushes, but was quickly arrested.
Hidden history discovered in New York City. This may look like an ordinary piece of furniture, but this built-in chest of drawers holds a centuries-old secret. It's actually a stop on the Underground Railroad. It was found inside a 19th century mansion that is now a museum. The narrow 2 feet square space is believed to have been secretly constructed in 1832 by the home's original owner. It drops down 15 feet to the first floor, but they believe at one time it went all the way down to the basement.
This is really an important find for our city, and it's important to know how New York played a vital role in the Underground Railroad and how people came here, and how the person who built this intentionally as a place for people to come to be safe and secure.
The dream of curators there is to explore even further to see if this historic property has more secrets to reveal.
Come on. All right, tight fit. Yeah, I got all 3 of them in my car.
A deputy in Colorado rounding up a trio of German Shepherds on the loose. The 3 pups somehow escaped home. It was freezing outside, so the owners were starting to get worried. Thankfully, the deputy wrangled them. It helped that the dogs were already well trained, jumping into her squad one by one.
Another animal rescue. A kitten was saved from a busy freeway in California. This video shows highway patrol officers issuing a traffic brake to rescue the terrified cat stuck between traffic lanes. The kitten was then taken to an animal shelter. Still ahead on the news at 5, there's a new opera in Chicago telling the story of the Great Migration. We sit down with the poet behind the show.
And a network of Chicago charter schools could be closing their doors before the academic year is over. Stay with us. Welcome.
primary debate.
During this Heart Health Month, the doctor sharing tips to avoid heart disease.
The warmer weather today is sticking with us through the weekend and into next week.
A network of Chicago charter schools is at risk of closing before the school year is over.
We're talking about Aspira. It runs 2 high schools and an alternative school.
Brett Baganski is live in Avondale. Brett, you found out these schools could close next month.
Certainly, Aspira's running into some financial problems, as the CEO confirmed with us that they've requested $4.8 million just to finish the school year. In a worst-case scenario, if Aspira ends up closing in the middle of the school year, we're talking about 570 students looking to transfer from other schools. So certainly, this is going to be a situation worth watching here. So this primarily impacts the Hispanic and Latino communities, and we're working to find out what would happen to students who are also enrolled at the alternative school. But at this week's Chicago Public Schools Board of Education meeting, we heard from members of the Chicago Teachers Union, as well as board members urging the interim CEO and the rest of the administration in the school district to come up with a plan in case hundreds of students need to transfer in just about 3 weeks.
So we have to hold them accountable. They must take action to defend our students and their families and educators who serve them. We know they own multiple properties. One of them's worth $20 million. You collateralize that, and that could help get us through the year for sure.
But we've come to a space where the very real reality is that we are going to possibly see a mid-year closure. This is a terrible time for them to be going to school. There is no stability. Our teachers don't know if they're going to be paid. And this needs to stop. We need to create a plan moving forward.
So clearly the clock is ticking, and I got this lengthy statement from the CEO, Edgar Lopez, from Aspira, and you can read it right now in its entirety on our website, fox32chicago.com right now. But essentially what it's asking is CPS for more time and more money just so they can finish out the school year. But CPS got back to me saying, look, they've already given them 4 different advances starting from November of last year to as late as January of this year, just so they can make payroll and that their teachers get paid on time. But they said, essentially, CPS that is, that it's up to Aspira to come up with its own financial plan. We're live in Avondale tonight. Brett Baganski, Fox Chicago.
And Brett, real quick, have you heard from any teachers? What is their plan if they, too, have to switch schools?
We spoke to one teacher who teaches at the alternative high school, and she is very worried about the future of her students and her own future. She was saying, look, I don't know what I'm going to do, but no matter what happens, I'm going to stay with the school because I feel like I owe it to the students, because she said, after all, this is students who are in vulnerable situations as it is. In fact, she kind of described it as last chance youth for them. So certainly she does not want to let them down, even with the uncertain financial situation that Aspira is facing right now.
All right, Brett, thanks so much. Mark, I feel like, yeah, we do deserve this nice break in weather.
We need this.
Yeah,
it's
especially
been rough.
You know, really, from about mid-January through the first week of February, we've really had a cold snap with temperatures not even getting above freezing. So, yeah, I think we deserve a break today. You know, before that, I just wanted to get up and get away and go to Florida or Arizona. But now, hey, looking pretty good around here. We have temperatures tomorrow back in the 50s all weekend long, and we could even touch on 60 degrees. All right, beautiful day today. Should be nice overnight tonight. We'll have fair skies early, a few clouds late. Temperatures starting out in the 40s, pushing down into the 30s eventually overnight tonight, down to about the freezing mark. But tomorrow, we'll start out with a few clouds, mixed with some sunshine early, and I think more clouds than anything else tomorrow, but again, occasional peak of sunshine, and temperatures stay pretty mild right through the weekend. Overnight low temperatures tomorrow night, a few degrees warmer than tonight. I think we'll make it for overnight low temperatures, middle and upper 30s, which helps us build back a little bit bigger as we go back into Sunday. Sunday, a decent shot of temperatures, at least in the south suburbs, hitting 60 degrees. I think the same thing could happen on Monday as well. Sweet weather right through the weekend. I've got the 7-day forecast coming up.
Well, February is Heart Health Month. It's the time to focus on the leading cause of death here in America, heart disease.
And that grim trend is true in Illinois. In 2023, the CDC reports more than 25,000 people died from heart disease.
Doctors say a lot of heart disease is preventable. That's why Heart Health Month exists. It's all about reminding us that small, consistent changes can truly save lives.
The basic thing that we want to remind people is to, know your numbers. At least let's start with the basics. Okay. So know your numbers, know your weight, know your body mass index, your cholesterol level, your glucose, your blood pressure. Try to exercise more every 30 minutes minimally every day of the week. That's the recommendation from AHA.
And make sure you're getting enough sleep too, doctors say, and keep an eye on your stress and the people who are causing you to be stressed.
Yeah, that's right.
Hello?
Well, the American Heart Association held its Go Red for Women experience downtown today. Their heart attack and stroke survivors shared their own stories, empowering women to make lifestyle changes that improve their overall well-being.
Most importantly, here in Chicago today, we are tapping into the power of connection and camaraderie, not just from person to person, but from business to business, provider to provider, and health system to health system.
So this next number is staggering, but nearly 45% of women over the age of 20 are living with cardiovascular disease. An important reminder to schedule regular visits with your doc.
With just 2 performances, Chicago's first poet laureate is bringing a musical performance to the Lyric Opera.
It tells the tale of the Great Migration and its ongoing significance to the city's culture today.
Sad. As we celebrate Black History Month, Chicago's first poet laureate is partnering with the Lyric Opera.
He is bringing audiences along for a musical journey through time.
Anita Blanton had a chance to sit down with him.
Generations of Chicagoans have come here to the Lyric Opera House, eager for the next big performance, a memorable night. But the next act, well, a local poet is behind it, and he's hoping that by sharing a movement that transformed this city, he might also transform the art form.
Avery, tell me about your love for poetry.
One day at 8, I wrote a poem in response to some really crazy things a third grade teacher told me. And I got in trouble in the classroom for just like immediately clapping back. But when I put that same kind of energy into words, people were like, oh my gosh, Avery, that is beautiful. And I learned right then and there, say it in a poem. And it works out so much better for you.
Who poured into you to encourage you to continue to grow that love?
Just poetry itself. Mama Sonia and Baba Haki, Mama Angela Jackson, the things that they were saying about this human experience through the Black lens was just something that I was always around, because then you go to church and you hear a sermon or you hear soul training. We have a very unique way when it comes to wording what we experience. And I was like, I can do that. I can do that all day long, and I have.
So all this time then leads you to the moment where you become the first poet laureate for the city.
Wow.
And what an incredible accomplishment.
Thank you.
Why do you think you were chosen as the first?
Because I'm fly. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I can only believe it's just been my service in teaching young folks poetry throughout the years, and I've taught everybody. I'm really the uncle of the poetry scene in Chicago. It's wild style, and I think that level of service is what landed me in that position.
Tell me the story behind Sophronia.
The story behind Sophronia is loosely based and inspired by my great-grandparents' migration from Lexington, Mississippi up to Chicago. As you know, that between 1910s and the 1970s, an estimated 6 million Black folk traveled from the rural South to the west part of America, the Midwest, and the northern parts of America. My great-grandparents came through that second wave to Chicago, and that's where we're at in the story. We start with the family coming back to this place that they were banished from to grant the patriarch's last wish was to lay his ashes down on this land that he owns. We get that day that he loses it, and the day they come back to lay his ashes down, and there's a wedding anniversary in the middle. And we do all of that to the scoring of music that I grew up on. We have gospel, blues, funk, soul, in the midst of this lyric opera house that tells the story of the trauma caused by such domestic terrorism, but also the resilience of the people and how they actually literally rock and roll through that trauma, because that's exactly what you see. You see them rocking and rolling through an horrific experience. What I wanted to make very clear and be very intentional on was the style of music. So this opera is not Euro-centered in its composition. It's definitely put yourself in the mind of Curtis Mayfield conducting Parliament Funkadelic with the staple singers and Denise Williams doing the singing. It's wild style.
My mind's going like this.
It's wild style in that sense. But one of the things why it's that is because I don't believe people in this city, Chicagoans, or people in America for the general, to understand the accessibility to opera. Opera seems to be this rich white thing that rich white people get to do. But this is a pure work of celebrating what makes us, us.
And on a final note, what does it mean to you to bring this to life in 2026?
There's double meaning. One is I feel like I'm embarking on the next phase of my artistic career because I actually like opera or like what you can do with opera. You know, it gives. It gives. But I also believe that this work is going to convince people who have never been to the opera before that they should come. It will convince the opera world to give more opportunities to stories like this with this kind of musical treatment. I would like to say that 2026 was the year something new happened in opera.
Anita Blanton, Fox, Chicago.
The show opens to audiences April 17th and 18th. Tickets are available now on lyricopera.org. And we are finally getting back into the 50s, and it's only getting better.
Marcus tracking the warm-up and his full forecast after the break.
Plus, the Chicago Fire turning up the heat ahead of the Major League Soccer season with the reveal of a new kit. All right, it's a sweet holiday tomorrow, and it sounds like we're in for a sweet weather weekend.
Like what you've done.
What you did.
You've done a little poet writing yourself.
What a sweetheart.
We've been talking about poets the last couple hours with some of these stories.
Exactly. Well, you know what? Tomorrow looks really good. The weekend looks really good. Early next week looks really good. I don't have any real bad news for you, so I should just go sit down, right? Yeah, I see what you did.
Yeah.
Here's where we're going right now. We do have fair skies. The sun has set. We're at 52. West-southwest winds now at 6 miles per hour. Your temperature should slowly push into the 40s this evening and then down eventually into the lower 30s tonight. Right now we do have a few clouds drifting in from the north and from the northwest, but I think we stay fair here for the next couple of hours, next several hours. I think tomorrow morning, little sunshine, and then the day tomorrow, a mix of some sun and clouds together. Temperatures, not too too bad at all. 52 at O'Hare, 51 at Midway, 50 along the lakeshore, 48 in Woodstock, 47 degrees this hour in Kankakee. These numbers, even now, are well above our normal daytime high temperatures. And we're going to do that again tomorrow, again on Sunday, again on Monday, again on Tuesday. We're in a pretty good roll here over the next couple of days. 55 tomorrow, 58 on Sunday. More sunshine if you've got to pick a day over the weekend with the most sunshine. Obviously, it'll be Sunday. Monday looking pretty good as well, 59 degrees. Those temperatures knocking at the door of 60 degrees. I think we'll have some 60s in the south suburbs. We also have some rainfall. I don't think they're going to affect the rain is going to affect the south suburbs, but we've got this little shot of moisture coming our way. It'll affect southern Illinois, central Illinois. I think it gets right up south of Interstate 80. But doesn't quite approach 80. So it stays down to our south. I don't think we'll have any issues with rainfall. In fact, more of the cloud cover the further south you go. So your forecast for tonight looks like this. Overnight low temperatures down to about 35 in the city. In the north and western suburbs, I think we make it a little closer to 30, 31, 32 degrees. But winds coming out of the southwest tonight and tomorrow, helping to transport some of that more moderate air in our way. 55 tomorrow. Again, some sunshine around throughout the day. Pleasant day. I think a few clouds, though, during the afternoon. More sunshine on Sunday. Temperatures, again, just about up to 60 degrees. Same situation. I've got 59 penciled in on Monday, but pencils come with erasers. That could easily be a 60, and I think we'll have some 60s, certainly in the south suburbs. 48 degrees on your Tuesday. We've got a shot of some rainfall later in the week, Wednesday night into Thursday. We definitely could use some rainfall just to recharge some of the moisture in the soil. 56 degrees again on Wednesday. We fall off into the 40s for Thursday and Friday, but even those 40s are still above our average daytime high. So win, win, win.
Great, Mark. Thank you. Well, the Chicago Fire are celebrating Valentine's Day with a special pop-up event at Drip Collective in the West Loop. For the first time, fans will be able to get their hands on the new 2026 kits. They're called Forever Red. These are the home jerseys. The head of communications for the team joined us this morning to break them down.
It really speaks to a modern update on a timeless classic. So you have our Chicago Fire Red. You got a refreshed crest. There's a lot of Chicago touches in here. You'll see the crisp collar with the
I love the collar.
lines. A lot of Chicago touches.
The new jersey also has the phrase "Red till the end" stamped along the back neckline. The pop-up opens tomorrow between 9 and 2 p.m.
And the home opener is on February 28th against Montreal. Why did I say it like that? But in 2 years, the team will be playing at a brand new stadium. This new site, going the 78, is a nod to what will become Chicago's newest neighborhood. They released these new renderings of the stadium this week. The stadium will cost about $650 million to build. The team is set to begin construction this year, and it's hoping the stadium will open in 2028. I think I said it like that because the character in Heated Rivalry says it like that.
All right, stay with us. We have a great update on the world's loneliest sheep.
Yeah, why she's definitely not feeling lonely anymore.
content of this ad.
Fiona, once known as the world's loneliest sheep, is now traded in her title for world's best mom.
Okay, she first made headlines back in 2023 after she was found on a remote cliff in Scotland. She was reportedly stranded there for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, after getting separated from her mother and either fell or wandered down without a path back up.
Fifi.
But she had access to a cave for shelter and grass to keep her fed.
Okay.
Now, a nearby farm was able to rescue her and nurse her back to health.
Survivor.
Fiona now is a mom. The farm says she just gave birth to a pair of lambs.
Please tell me they named him Shrek and Donkey.
I hope so.
I would love that.
We need the family all together there.
How do we know that sheep just didn't like other sheep and wanted to get down there and hide out?
Maybe,
True.
yeah.
I'm saying.
True that.
Yeah.
It's nice, man.
It really is. You know, and here's the best thing. It's going to be nice right through the weekend. And we'll have some sunshine there on Sunday. And those temperatures, upper 50s, but they could just as easily hit 60. Couldn't they?
Love it.
Love the sound of it. All right, thanks for joining us at 5 o'clock.
And now you can stream us on your smart TV with Fox Local.
We're on all the streaming platforms.
Family Feud is next. Terrence will see you back here at 9.
Are you not joining me? You going home or something?